As we approach the election of a new US president, let's take a look back at 10 of the most controversial presidents in American history. From decisions that changed the course of wars to domestic policies that divided the nation, these leaders left lasting impacts, for better or worse. Let's jump into our countdown from 10 to 1. Number 10. Lyndon B. Johnson, 1963 to 1969, Democratic Party. While Johnson is often celebrated for his work on civil rights, his presidency was defined by some of the most divisive policies in American history. Johnson expanded U.S. involvement in the Vietnam War, leading to massive protests and a growing distrust of government. His Great Society programs aimed at ending poverty and racial injustice expanded the role of federal government in areas like healthcare, education, and welfare, which some saw as government overreach. Johnson's legacy remains split. His civil rights achievements and social reforms continue to benefit many Americans, but his handling of the Vietnam War left deep scars. Johnson's administration changed the way Americans view presidential power, national policy, and government accountability. Number 9. Harry S. Truman, 1945 to 1953, Democratic Party. Truman made the controversial decision to drop atomic bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki in 1945, bringing an end to World War II, but at an enormous human cost. His decision sparked a moral debate that still rages today. Truman also faced criticism for entering the Korean War without a formal declaration from Congress, testing the limits of presidential authority. Truman's presidency set a new course for American foreign policy, with the U.S. stepping firmly into a leadership role on the global stage. His actions in the Korean War raised questions about presidential power in military conflicts that are still relevant today, and his decision to use nuclear weapons redefined warfare forever. Number 8. Bill Clinton, 1993 to 2001, Democratic Party. Clinton's time in office was marked by a scandal that led to his impeachment in 1998. Accused of perjury and obstruction of justice following his affair with White House intern Monica Lewinsky, Clinton became only the second president in U.S. history to be impeached. Additionally, his economic policies, such as the North American Free Trade Agreement, NAFTA, sparked debate over trade and labor, as some claimed NAFTA led to job losses in the U.S. Clinton's legacy is complex. While he left office with a budget surplus and strong economic growth, the scandals surrounding his impeachment raised enduring questions about the impact of personal conduct on presidential leadership. Clinton's trade policies continue to shape discussions on global economics and labor rights. Number 7. Woodrow Wilson, 1913 to 1921, Democratic Party. Woodrow Wilson's presidency was controversial for both his domestic and foreign policies. Wilson actively supported racial segregation in federal offices, a decision that has cast a dark shadow over his legacy. During World War I, he pushed through the Espionage and Sedition Acts, which limited free speech and led to the imprisonment of those who opposed the war. Wilson's advocacy for the League of Nations set a vision for international cooperation, but his civil rights record and suppression of dissent stand in stark contrast to this ideal. His actions continue to influence debates on civil liberties and the balance between national security and freedom of expression. Number 6. Franklin D. Roosevelt, 1933 to 1945, Democratic Party. FDR is known for his New Deal programs, which expanded federal government involvement in social welfare and economic reform to unprecedented levels. While these programs helped pull the U.S. out of the Great Depression, critics argued that FDR's approach veered too close to socialism. His plan to expand the Supreme Court was also seen as an attempt to manipulate the judiciary. Additionally, his decision to intern Japanese Americans during World War II remains one of the darkest moments of his presidency. FDR's legacy is one of immense change. His New Deal shaped modern American social policy, and his presidency redefined the scope of federal power. However, His court-packing plan and the internment camps remain controversial, reminding us of the dangers of executive overreach during times of crisis. Number 5. George W. Bush, 2001 to 2009, Republican Party. Following the 9/11 attacks, Bush led the U.S. into wars in Afghanistan and Iraq, the latter based on intelligence about weapons of mass destruction that was ultimately disproven. Bush's administration also authorized controversial interrogation methods and established Guantanamo Bay, both of which sparked global debates on human rights. Bush's presidency fundamentally reshaped American foreign policy, ushering in a new era of preemptive war. The legacy of the Iraq War and Bush's approach to national security continue to influence American politics and have shaped public debates on civil liberties, executive power, and foreign intervention. Number 4. Andrew Jackson, 1829 to 1837, Democratic Party. Andrew Jackson stands out for his polarizing approach to leadership. Known for his populist style, Jackson's policies included the forced relocation of Native Americans in the Trail of Tears, resulting in the deaths of thousands. He also dismantled the Second Bank of the United States, sparking debate on federal control over the economy. Jackson's aggressive use of executive power created a more populist vision of the presidency, but his treatment of Native Americans and his economic policies set a precedent for centralized authority. Jackson's legacy remains controversial, with some seeing him as a champion of the common man and others as a figure of oppression. Number 3. Abraham Lincoln, 1861 to 1865, Republican Party. While Lincoln is revered today for his role in abolishing slavery and preserving the Union, his use of wartime powers was highly controversial. Lincoln suspended habeas corpus, imposed martial law in certain areas, and expanded executive authority, actions that many viewed as unconstitutional. Lincoln's presidency set a precedent for the use of executive power during times of crisis. Though he is celebrated for his leadership, his actions continue to spark debates about the balance between national security and civil liberties. Number 2. Richard Nixon, 1969 to 1974, Republican Party. Nixon's presidency is forever marred by the Watergate scandal, where his administration was caught in an illegal break-in and subsequent cover-up. This scandal led to Nixon's resignation, the first and only resignation of a U.S. president. His involvement in secret bombings in Cambodia during the Vietnam War added further controversy. Nixon's downfall reshaped American politics, leading to reforms in campaign finance and ethics laws. Watergate has become synonymous with political scandal, and Nixon's legacy is a warning of the consequences of presidential abuse of power. Number 1. Donald Trump, 2017 to 2021, Republican Party. Donald Trump's presidency was marked by divisive policies, 2 impeachments, and rhetoric that polarized the nation. Trump's handling of immigration, race relations, and the COVID-19 pandemic sparked widespread debate, while his response to the January 6th Capitol attack further divided public opinion. His unprecedented use of social media to communicate directly with the public only intensified the controversy. Trump's presidency has left a lasting impact on American politics, contributing to increased polarization and raising questions about the role of media and transparency in government. The long-term effects of his leadership are still unfolding, but his influence on public discourse and political norms is undeniable. That concludes our list of the most controversial presidents in American history. Each of these leaders, in their own way, shaped the nation's path and left us with legacies that continue to affect the country today. Feel free to put your thoughts and selections in the comments below. In the meantime, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share for future insights into world history.